Well, I knew it the whole time. I mean, my word, Georgia winning over Tennessee 38-10. Final score. We come in here to get your comments about the game and get a kind of a wrap up of this big win for Georgia over Tennessee. Just a fantastic game for the Bulldogs. Georgia winning 38-10 over Tennessee, of course, solidifying the fact that Georgia is the number one team in the country, not only in the AP poll, but in the college football playoff poll. And Georgia played like the number one team in the country today. They went into a jam packed Neyland Stadium, dreams of an upset coming from the fans of Tennessee, confidence on the Tennessee sideline that they could do some damage against Georgia, despite the fact that last week Missouri just destroyed Tennessee. But things did not go according to plan, according to the Volunteers. Just a big win today for the University of Georgia. So, step in here as we get ready for some more football, of course, the evening games coming up. And we thought we'd give you the opportunity to express what you think about this dominating performance by the University of Georgia today against the Tennessee Volunteers, the 18th ranked Tennessee Volunteers coming into this game, probably maybe ranked, next week in the rankings. But final score today: Georgia 38 and Tennessee 10. Let's take a look at our final statistics as we get them fed to us. Carson Beck, just a stunning, absolutely wonderful day, passing the ball, sharp, on time, with strength. I mean, what can you say about Carson Beck today? 24 of 30, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kendall Milton had a good day running the ball, 14 carries, 66 yards. He had a touchdown. Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint, rather, 7 receptions, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Georgia had 27 first downs today, 316 yards passing, 156 yards rushing. Georgia had one turnover on the kind of weird. I don't know if you could even call it a fumble, a muffed snap in the game. Georgia again 472 yards total offense. Tennessee had 277 yards total offense. And think about that, on the first play of the game, Tennessee got that 75-yard touchdown run. So Georgia held, for the balance of the game, Georgia held Tennessee to around 200 yards offense. Georgia had 27 first downs. Tennessee had 13. Georgia possessed the ball 40 minutes and 58 seconds to Tennessee's 19 minutes and 2 seconds. Just a dominating performance today for the University of Georgia. Looking at our stats, we're trying to get the full box score here from our feed. Carson Beck again, 24 of 30, 298 yards, 3 touchdown passes today. Dylan Bell, what a fantastic game Dylan Bell had today. He threw a touchdown pass while he was 1 for 1, 18 yards, of course, and a touchdown. Kendall Milton, 14 carries, 66 yards. Dejon Edwards, 11 carries, 34 yards and rushing. Marcus Rosemy Jack Saint, 7 receptions for 91 yards. Dylan Bell, 5 receptions for 90 yards. Dylan Bell. Bowers to Dylan Bell today. I'm sorry, back to Dylan Bell today. Man, that seems to be the story. Brock Bowers, another great day. He had 7 receptions for 60 yards. Thomas kind of nicked himself a little bit. Brock Bowers came up limping one time, but he got back into the game. Ladd McConkey, by the way, tightened up. His back tightened up on him, and that's why we didn't see Ladd McConkey in the ball game for today. So, what do you think as we close out our look at this game today? So Georgia winning today. Georgia, 45-1 now in the last 46 games. Unbelievable. 28 straight games in a row that Georgia has won a football game, which or an SEC, I guess, SEC game, and that ties Alabama's record. Or yeah, that ties Alabama's record. Just a dominating performance today. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that Aaron, you're absolutely right. That was a picture of before the game. It was, Tennessee likes to say they have the loudest stadium in the country. It wasn't loud, very loud in the fourth quarter. It was, Tennessee fans just left. Georgia fans, of course, stayed around and enjoyed the game and the atmosphere. Just a dominating game for Georgia over Tennessee. Yeah, Dylan Bell. I tell you what. Oh man, I don't know how many. Let me see if I can figure out how many receivers caught passes today. How many different people caught passes today? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. 9 different players for the University of Georgia caught passes today. 9 different ones. Um, wow. A good, listen, as much as we want to talk about Georgia's offense, the defense was exceptional today. Besides giving up the first, that first play of the game, 75-yard run for a touchdown, Georgia just, the defense really tightened up, gave up only 200 more yards for the balance of the game. Georgia's defense played very, very well. It's just a big win for Georgia. Ra Thomas, Ra-Ra's got a foot injury, and they don't think it's really serious, a serious foot injury. It's not like, I don't know what it'll mean for him against Georgia Tech. Apparently, he may not be needed. I don't know. But that'll be something that they will assess. Ladd McConkey, I got a sneaking suspicion you might see Ladd play next week if he's okay, just to get him game sharp for Alabama. Now, we're not going to discount the fact that Georgia's got to play Georgia Tech next Saturday night, by the way, which is, the Georgia Tech game is going to be at night on ABC. It's been like at noon for the last, I don't know how many years, 7 or 8 or more years. But the Georgia Tech game will be on ABC next Saturday night, and that will be a 7 o'clock game, I guess, or 7:30. And so Georgia has a chance to have another undefeated regular season next Saturday as they play, as Georgia plays Georgia Tech. Yeah, Ladd, his back did stiffen up a little bit, and but and he just told the coaches himself he felt a little stiff. He's been dealing with some disc issues. I don't know if you'll see Ladd on the field next Saturday against Georgia Tech, but to be honest with you, he may not be needed. It's just Georgia. And here's what's going to happen. You think, okay, Georgia beats Tennessee convincingly. They got a Georgia Tech team that they'll be a huge favorite against. Yeah, you were close, Michael, to that score. You did good. You did. I was terrible. I said 28-21, so I was way off. But you would think, okay, Georgia has this convincing victory over Tennessee. Kirby Smart's going to take, is going to, he's going to take it easy on the guys next week with Thanksgiving. No way. Coach Smart, here's what Coach Smart does. After a victory, man, he presses the pedal even more. And after this, Coach Smart takes nothing for granted. In fact, Coach Smart is a little aggravated that the Georgia Tech game is going to be at night because that takes half a day away from preparing for Alabama in the SEC championship game. So, but no, Georgia will have a tough week of practice. They'll take nothing for granted. That's one of the great things about this staff. So, Edwards, Ladd, Brock will be fine. Yeah. And I think some of these guys, some of the walking wounded that Georgia has probably, maybe kind of, sort of will get, some relief next Saturday. But then again, you look at it, you want them to have some game, action getting ready for the SEC championship game, which will be the next week. So, Georgia will figure that out. We got to say something about Mike Bobo. This was just an absolutely great offensive day and Mike Bobo played called just a tremendous game today offensively. I've watched Ohio State, I've watched Michigan, I've watched Florida State, I've watched all of these teams, and I've watched Georgia. And after watching Georgia today, I just got to tell you, Georgia is the best team in the country at this moment. There's no doubt about that. But whether that will translate into where we want to go, I'll have to wait and see. Jamon's out for the season, unfortunately. Jamon Dumas, Johnson, he's out. From what I understand, he's out for the season. They had to put a rod in his arm and that kind of thing. So I don't think you're going to see him back, in the back in action for the University of Georgia this year. But he may pull a Brock Bowers for heaven's sakes, and you may see him back. You may see Jamon back on the field. Who knows? Who knows? Just a great day for the University of Georgia. Congratulations to everyone who got close with your scores. I said 28-21. I was a little more looking for a better performance from Tennessee. Tennessee losing their fourth game of the year. After last year, the Tennessee fans were hoping, okay, we've taken a step in the right direction. They're certainly not having the season that they anticipate having. And by the way, this is the last game between Georgia and Tennessee as SEC East foes. How about that? Next season there are no divisions in the SEC. And so I don't even know if Georgia will play Tennessee next season. It may be one of the 3 designated games where they'll play them every year. I just don't know. But kind of interesting that this is the final SEC East conflict and game between Georgia and Tennessee. Interesting. Well, Tennessee tried to pull out all the stops. They even pulled out Dolly Parton to try to help, beat Georgia today, but it didn't happen. So congratulations to the University of Georgia. That's going to wrap it up for us. We'll try to get in here with you sometime during this week to talk a little bit about the Georgia Tech game and to look forward beyond that to the SEC championship game. Just a great day for the University of Georgia. It's a good day to be a Georgia Bulldog. And we hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Joshua says we're playing Alabama and Texas next year in the regular season. Yeah. Yeah. Coach Dooley, Larry Munson, and Louis Brizard. They are indeed smiling today. Hey, for the Georgia program, these are the good old days. Let's enjoy it. I mean, seriously, Georgia dominated today. But I hope you and your family, I pray that you and your family will have a marvelous Thanksgiving. Try not to eat too much. Go ahead. Eat all you want to. Enjoy some good football, professional and college football coming up later on in the week. And we'll get ready for Georgia. Georgia Tech will be right here next Saturday night as we look at Georgia and Georgia Tech. And hopefully, we won't have to sweat it so much before, during, or after the game with the Yellow Jackets. And get ready. Oh, get ready. But God bless you. Have a good Thanksgiving. And we'll catch up with you soon. Thank you for being with us. And go Dogs.